Welcome to The Reins of Leadership, the podcast dedicated to helping you lead with presence and influence with trust. I'm your host, Merinda Smith, business leadership strategist, sharing actionable insights on mindset, EQ and energy uniquely illuminated by wisdom gained alongside my equine partners. Hello everyone and welcome back to The Reins of Leadership. I'm your host, Merinda Smith, and someone who believes our greatest teachers sometimes have 4 legs and a tail. It's been a reflective week here. I was watching one of the younger ponies hesitate to come forward in the group, almost trying to make herself invisible. It instantly took me back to times in my own life and career where I held back, keeping quiet, even when I had something important to say. It also brought to mind a very special horse who taught me so much about finding and valuing my own voice and sharing that knowledge with others. So today we're diving into the heart of authentic self-expression in leadership. We'll explore why speaking our truth matters, how we can encourage it in others, and the profound connection between inner change and outward impact. All through the story of my wonderful horse, Bundy Bear, who I actually wrote a book about. And so I'm actually grabbing some of those amazing nuggets that he shared with me and I'm putting them into the podcast. So you'll hear more about him as I go on. So welcome to The Reins of Leadership, the podcast where we help you lead with presence, influence with trust. Let's dive in. Before we return to Bundy's powerful lesson, perhaps this focus on inner alignment and authenticity is striking a chord with you. Do you ever feel like you're achieving success by external standards, ticking all the boxes, and yet you're feeling a little bit empty or heading towards that burnout? You're just doing so much. So many entrepreneurs chase metrics that don't actually lead to fulfillment. If that sounds familiar, I want to offer you something. It's my free guide called The Secret to Success. It's designed specifically to help you bridge that gap between external achievement and internal satisfaction. It's also going to help you define what meaningful success truly looks like for you, going just way beyond that revenue. So you can download it free right now. It's on my website, merindasmith.com.au. That's merindasmith.com.au. It's a great first step towards building a business and leadership style that truly fulfills you. Okay, so I want to share a story with you, one that's very close to my heart. It's about a gorgeous horse named Bundy Bear and the incredible lessons that he brought into my life. These lessons have shaped me and my understanding of leadership and connection since I realised what he was sharing with me. So it's been quite a few years now. You see, I truly believe that outward change often comes only after we make changes within ourselves. When Bundy Bear first came to live with me, he was very reserved. He'd shut down because he had had a tumultuous past, like he had just had so much happen in his past. He'd been pushed beyond what he was capable of and he totally shut down. He didn't really speak his mind or show his personality readily. He seemed to try and hide and almost blend into the background. Now that's really hard for a black and white horse to do. He's a big horse, very imposing, and he's black and white. So it is hard to do, but that's what it seemed he was doing. And he just wanted to try and keep himself safe, which after many years of working with him, I realised that was exactly what he was doing. So instinctively, I knew that he needed to step up and his opinion mattered. And it mattered deeply to me how he was feeling and how his emotions might be affecting him. And so I really wanted to understand those thoughts and feelings. But as you know, horses speak horse and they don't speak human. So it was a long process for me to try and understand just what he was saying. Now, seeing Bundy's hesitation struck such a deep chord because it felt like looking into a mirror. And it made me reflect on parts of my own journey. Just how Bundy was feeling hesitant, almost afraid to take up space and show his true self. I saw that reflection of where times earlier in my own life and career where I'd done the same. I'd kept myself small. For me, this meant staying silent in meetings. Even when I had an idea, I'd just not say anything, keep the peace. Who knew what I knew and whether it was a good thing? So I'd hold myself back from challenging a decision I fundamentally disagreed with. I'd tell myself that it wasn't my place or it wouldn't make a difference anyway. And I know now that stemmed from that common fear, the fear of rocking the boat, of being seen as difficult, too loud, whatever, I'd heard it all, or simply the fear of being wrong and looking foolish. And I know I'm not the only one to carry this pressure where leaders feel the need to appear certain and infallible. So alongside recognising that pattern of holding back, I also felt the echo of those other times, those moments which were often hard won, where I'd started to find my footing and I felt a little bit stronger, and where I'd allow that conviction to actually percolate inside and say, I need to speak my voice. I need to say my perspective because it does matter. And I have a valid viewpoint and that I actually deserve to have a say just like everyone else does. Being an introvert, I often found it hard to butt into conversations. So it was a big lesson for me. So seeing Bundy hesitant and trying to stay safe felt like watching the same internal push and pull playing out, and that instinct to hide versus the potential waiting to emerge. It made me think about how often we as leaders might also be hiding parts of ourselves or our own perspectives. And throughout my life, there were instances when people, maybe colleagues, bosses, even well-meaning friends, tried to convince me that my viewpoint was wrong, simply because it was different from theirs. Because I heard that a number of times, I played small, and the cycle continued. This bit took me a long time to realise, and yet when I saw Bundy Bear reacting the way he was, I knew that he needed to validate his own unique way of being. And this helped me to solidify a valuable lesson for myself that simply when someone says something, it's their perspective. It's shaped by their own experiences, by their own beliefs, and by their values. It's not mine. They have a right to their perspective and I have a right to mine. So it wasn't necessarily the objective, capital T, truth about the situation, and it certainly wasn't the truth about me when I would hear these words from these other people. And I gradually learnt to pause before automatically accepting their judgment. And in that pause, I was able to have a decision in myself as to whether I spoke up or whether I didn't, and allowed me to stop internalizing disagreement as proof that I was flawed or incorrect. From there, I began to slow, sometimes challenging, but incredibly rewarding process of learning to truly accept my own thoughts and beliefs. The ones that resonated deep down as true for me based on my own intuition and experience, even when they bumped up against conventional wisdom or that strongly held opinions of others around me. What became so liberating was that internal shift. Through embracing that knowledge of being different, thinking differently, perhaps even leading differently, wasn't just okay, it was actually essential. Because I am unique and I do things differently to others, it appeared. And so I was giving myself permission to actually do that and to look at those unique insights, that creativity and authentic leadership. So, back to Bundy Bear, I wanted him to feel that acceptance, that it was okay for him to be different, to have his own unique way of being. In teaching him, it reinforced everything that I've just said to myself. And this brought huge benefits to Bundy, my relationship with Bundy, to my team. Oh my God, that was life-changing, and the way that I communicated to them, to my family, and I'm sure they are so grateful that I made those changes. And it has guided me ever since. I realised that I'm the only one who can produce my specific thoughts, my unique ideas, and all of them deserve to be heard and acknowledged, even if only to myself initially. Then I started a podcast, so now I share them openly to you guys, and thank you for listening and for your comments. And so what it's led me to is to daily commitment, saying to myself, today I commit to being true to myself. I don't always do it, yet it is a commitment that I do want to honour as often as I possibly can. And honestly, this relationship that I have had with Bundy just got so deep. It was so deep in many ways. Rather than just connections, it was deeper than I even had with close humans. I was learning firsthand that a horse truly knows what is in your heart. And it wasn't just Bundy. I realised all horses possess this incredible ability to read humans. And science has proven that a horse's heart is 20 times the size of a human's heart. And that is why they can radiate this immense energy and connect with their heart. And I've seen it when I've had my equine assisted learning, with leaders and with teams. I've seen it time and time again. They sense immediately when their humans get scared, and in those moments they might either take control over the person out of their own need for leadership, or if the connection is right, they can connect almost soul to soul with that human and work together in a beautiful harmony. Horses know when they are loved, genuinely from the heart, and it doesn't mean that you constantly give them treats or hugs. It's just that being. And that's what a good relationship is, that being together, doing things together. And it could be in a team environment or in a personal environment. Reflecting this made me realise that perhaps many people in my life had talked to me, but hadn't truly connected with me on that deeper energetic level. Years ago, I'd done some sales training where we learnt about body language, mirroring, influencing techniques, essentially how to get the other person to buy. And yes, communication comes in many forms, often non-verbal. That knowledge of body language had helped me build relationships and provide leadership to a degree, but as I've said earlier, I didn't have that leadership training. And yet now, through Bundy, I was learning something far more insightful, the power of energy shifts and how becoming aware of and managing these shifts could change my entire perspective and impact. This horse was teaching me something incredible. And the real light bulb moment was seeing how directly applicable these skills were to the human world. When I use them positively and authentically, understanding and managing my own energy and recognizing the energy of others, it just had a huge beneficial effect on that human-to-human relationship, just as it does on that human-horse connection. So what can we as leaders take away from Bundy Bear's story and these reflections? How do we adopt this authenticity and connection in ourselves and our teams? So, as usual, I've got 3 points for you. I've told you I'm a trainer. I come from that training background, and I'm here to offer you tips so you can take them away. So, this is tip number 1, champion uniqueness, yours and theirs. So, just like Bundy Bear needed encouragement to show his true self, leaders need to actively encourage an environment where diverse perspectives, can't even say the word, are tolerated and valued. This starts with us, truly with us, accepting who we are, our unique thoughts and feelings, and that they may even differ from the norm, but that's okay. Resist that urge to keep small and think of it as being creative. Recognize any limiting beliefs that tell you to conform, and then extend this acceptance to your team and to others. So actively seek differing points of view, acknowledge contributions, even if you don't agree with them. Yet somewhere those contributions may have a valid point. And by doing this, you are creating psychological safety for your people, which is all part of WHS in Australia. And so you're allowing your team to express themselves authentically in a safe environment without fear of judgment. And this brings out that creativity, which is what we all need to have a successful business. In your next team meeting, consciously ask for perspectives from quieter members. When someone offers a different viewpoint, thank them specifically for sharing it and reflect to yourself. Are you fully accepting your own unique leadership style or trying to fit a mold? Start with a commitment. Today, I commit to be true to myself. Okay, so that's point number 1. Point number 2, encourage energetic awareness and connection. And I spoke about this on another podcast about that energetic connection. And it's that true connection that the horses demonstrate goes beyond that surface level conversation or transactional interaction. It involves being present and aware of the underlying energy that you are bringing forth to the table, both your own and that of other. Are you bringing calm, open, curious energy to your interactions? Or are you bringing stress, impatience, or judgment? Your team's going to feel this before you even say a word, just like the horses do. The horses can sense your fear, your love, and connect energetically through their heart. So remember the horses when you're going into a meeting and practice that energetic check-ins before key interactions. Ask yourself, what energy am I currently carrying? What energy do I want to bring to this conversation? Take a few deep breaths and consciously shift towards openness, calm, or curiosity, whichever one that you're looking for. Pay attention to the feel of the room or the person you're speaking with. What is their energy conveying beyond their words? Okay, that's point number 2. Point number 3 is recognize internal shifts. So the core message of everything that I'm saying is that lasting outward change in your leadership impact, team dynamics, or results starts with internal shifts. Leadership starts within. Working on your own self-acceptance, managing your energy, challenging your limiting beliefs are all part of the strategy of leadership. Trying to change team behaviour or outcomes without addressing your own internal turmoil is often like trying to steer a horse that senses your own fear, and all it's going to do is gallop off, and it will be ineffective and very frustrating, and it could be very painful. Bundy Bear shared many of those lessons with me in the first instance of meeting him, where his pain outweighed any trust. By working within, in my own energy, I was able to build that trust with him. So your tip is to identify one area where you desire external change in your leadership, and that could be, more about team initiative, better conflict resolution, better communication, less absenteeism from staff members. And when you do that, honestly reflect what internal shift might be required from you first. Is it letting go of a need for control? Is it promoting more trust? Is it encouraging vulnerability? Is it challenging a limiting belief? Focus on that internal work first. Bundy Bear was such a gift, and he's given us so many things to remind us about about leadership and these things that we forget in the hustle of leading others. Here are 3 ideas that we've shared today. Champion uniqueness, your voice matters, their voices matter. Actively accept and encourage authentic expression. Starting with yourself, it's more than okay to be different. Connect energetically, go beyond words, tune into your own energy and the energy of others to build genuine trust and understanding, just as horses read our hearts. And inner work, outer impact. Lasting change in your leadership effectiveness begins with internal shifts in mindset, self-acceptance, and energetic awareness. True leadership presence isn't about having all the answers or being the loudest. It's about being authentically you and creating the space for others to do the same. And introverts are just as fantastic at being leaders as are extroverts. Finally, please, if this episode resonated, subscribe or follow the Reins of Leadership wherever you listen. leave a rating and review, which is incredibly helpful. Connect with me on Instagram. I am Merinda Smith, so my handle is I am Merinda Smith. I'd love to see you on there and hear your insights. And once again, thank you for tuning into the Reins of Leadership with me. I'm Merinda Smith. My hope is that you leave equipped to lead with greater presence and influence with trust. Until next time, keep a steady hand on the reins. Thanks for joining me on the Reins of Leadership. Remember to lead with presence and influence with trust. Subscribe for more insights and find resources at merindasmith.podia.com.